Hello tanks and tankettes, and welcome to World of Tanks and a comparatively rare sight. Today we have El Chupacabra here in the M3 Light. That seems like an awfully familiar tank. In fact, that seems like an M3 Stuart. Except this is the Soviet M3 Stuart. This is the lend-lease version, and as this is an older premium, it is balanced, as a lot of older premiums are, in between the fully upgraded tank and the stock tank. So it's better than a stock Stuart, but it's not as good as a fully upgraded one. And when you look at the stats in comparison, yeah, it's not a particularly good tier 3 premium. It's still reasonably fast, but I mean, it's got the middle gun of the M3 Stuart with not very good DPM. It's less than 1,000 base DPM. It's got a 1.9 second aim time, I think it is. In fact, I think it might even be worse than that. Let me have a quick look. No, it is 1.9 and the Stuart's 1.7, so I was actually remembering correctly there. The penetration is less, the view range is like 50 meters less because it's the stock turret. Having said it's reasonably fast, you know, it's still got a worse horsepower per ton because it's the middle engine. So all in all, it's not a very inspiring little tank. It's not even one you can just go and buy these days. I mean, according to the wiki, once upon a time it was available as a reward for completing the tutorial missions, but I don't ever remember that being the case on EU. So I don't know, maybe that was the case on like the NA server or something. Who knows? But yeah, the only way to get a hold of one these days would be through some kind of bonus code, and the only reason you'd want it would be for the collector value, because as I've said, it's just not particularly good. 0.46 accuracy is fairly terrible, and the 48 average penetration is also not that good. So you need, you know, weakly armoured opponents or basically side shots, but fortunately when you're top tier, that 48 penetration matters less. The accuracy's still going to suck, but at least you can pen things without reaching for the premium. So, here on regular Ruinberg, well, as you can see, his team has basically all concentrated on this side of the map, which leaves the cap circle fairly open. So, El Chupacabra has gotten himself back to these bushes in anticipation of enemies pushing up this road. He at least can be confident that he's not going to have a bunch of stuff shooting him in the back, however, because his remaining teammates are all basically up on that middle road there. So anything that runs into them is hopefully going to die in a hail of shellfire. So there's his first target, the T56 GMC, and he's having a little trouble actually hitting it here, but he's not got a lot to actually aim at the moment. But if you can even just spot for his allies, that'd be good. Now, as this is a premium, obviously you could put any Soviet light tank crew in, but he doesn't have Sixth Sense on this crew, so it might not even be 100% crew. Although it could be, you know, considering that he's not exactly using, you know, premium food or anything like that, I think it is actually at least 100% crew, just based on the rate of fire and the accuracy that he's able to achieve. Well, relative accuracy. So there goes the Rati, although it's probably not going to be a huge loss. Artillery at this tier is not particularly accurate or hard hitting, although it doesn't have to be particularly hard hitting because nobody has any armour. So there's some more tanks showing up, and they've taken a little while to get there. It seems like they were either shooting up the middle road at the tanks at the crossroads, or else they were just being very cautious in pushing through and following up behind that T56. But either way, that is quite a few tanks to be facing head on when you have very, very little armour. He's bounced one shell from that medium Mark III, but yeah, with the array of things there, including the tier 3 Swedish tank destroyer, he doesn't want to take those hits. But he's going to take some hits anyway, because the enemy M3 Stuart has managed to pop out and get some shots into his rear. So that's about a third of his health gone just there. And unfortunately, it seems like his teammates weren't really in a position to kill the M3 Stuart, but they might have gotten some hits in at least. So his intent here is clear. He's going to perform a classic flanking manoeuvre, come around behind these guys and get the reset, hopefully. But fortunately for him, I mean, I don't think he would have had the time to quite manage it, maybe, or it would have been cutting it very fine. But his allies did get some resets. So as he's been able to turn up and is now able to start resetting things himself even, well, yeah, there we go. They're now in absolute no danger of being capped out, but he does still have to be careful that he doesn't just get blapped. And that Cruiser 4 especially does have quite a nasty gun for its tier. That thing can pump out like 200 damage in a clip, and he's only got, you know, a max of 220 hit points, and he certainly wasn't at that. So he bounced one of those shots from the angling, but he took another one. But at this point, they've basically won. You know, him coming round behind them was the perfect distraction for his allies to then do some damage themselves. So that's it. The enemy team has basically lost any chance they had at winning. But it's still been quite a close run thing. They're down to only 4 tanks themselves. So that just leaves artillery, the last little bit of mopping up. And he's not in this corner, so chances are he's over by the cap, and yes, there he is. So I think it's El Chupacabra that gets the spotting, but he doesn't get any more than 1 shot's worth of damage, because his teammates have all turned up to shoot them as well. So that was an ace tanker with a defender and Confederate badge. 662 damage is not bad for this tier, especially considering this gun. And he got another 386 spotting, so that's alright. That's nearly 1,000 combined, just about. And as you can see, that was enough to put him at the top of the team. So yeah, that was quite a good effort all in all. And I don't know, I thought this was an interesting little game, and it's a tank that you basically never see. I mean, it's not that common to see, you know, tier 3 replays on YouTube anyway, but this tank in particular, it's an uncommon premium, and also it's just not very good. So getting that kind of performance out of it, yeah, that's a fairly respectable result, I thought. So hopefully you have enjoyed this replay, and if you have, you can hit the like button, you can leave any comments below, you can sub to my channel if you haven't already, and as always, stay tuned for more.